I have a buddy named David Martin. I call him David. He is one of the coolest dudes on the planet. He's more like a brother, more like family to me. He is just an amazing leader, an amazing coach in the business world. He's a consultant at several huge Fortune 100 companies, and he's been doing it for 2+ decades. He's very, very effective. In fact, when he gets in front of people, whether he's doing one-on-one coaching or teaching a big group of people or giving a keynote, every single time, man, people come up to him and they are emotionally moved by his work and self-proclaimed as transformed. And I've seen it. Like, when this guy teaches, it's transformational. It really is. He changes people's lives through his instruction, his coaching, his teaching. And the reason that I tell you that, well, let me back up a second. What he does that's so cool is he's a very humble, simple guy. He tells stories about growing up on the farm, about lessons he learned from his dad and his grandpa Nye, and growing up in this little town in Illinois on a corn farm, right? Maple View Farms. And by the time he's done, you feel like you grew up on that farm, and all of those cool traditional lessons that he learned, right? They apply to your life as well, and you feel like you can apply them in your life immediately. In fact, people do for huge returns on investment. He's helped these leaders. It's not just kumbaya. He's helped them make tons of money. He's helped them have deeper connections with their clients. So using those stories is powerful, powerful stuff. And, not unexpectedly, they keep asking him back. They keep asking him to come back. And as these clients of his keep moving up the corporate ladder or going to other companies, they ask him to come there and train their junior associates. The guy doesn't even need to advertise or market because he's so well known inside those circles because of the stories that he gifts to other people. And that's the subject of week 3 here in August under this monthly part 2 of narrative competence, the monthly theme. The weekly theme that's feeding it is the gifting of stories, because that's exactly what stories do when you do it the right way. Stories are purposeful and they are designed to serve other people. They are gifts. And when you use them as gifts, a certain thing called reciprocity occurs, where the audience or the listener of the story is connected or is reminded of what's important or is given a lesson that they can learn for their life that they don't have to get scuffed up for. And let me tell you something. This is 250,000 years old. This is primal human connection and leadership. And so when I tell you stories are gifts, I'm not kidding you. The generosity that you give through your miles and your scars is a gift, and people appreciate it at a visceral biological level. Oxytocin is emitted in the body and empathy occurs, and then reciprocity is powerful stuff. Rooftop leaders, and so reciprocity, where a listener hears that story, reciprocity occurs where they want to connect to you, buy from you, invest in you. It occurs because of relevance, and rooftop leaders are relevant leaders. We just are. And it's because we use stories as gifts. We use stories from our miles and our scars in the service of others. How does it work? Let's remember that humans are primal creatures. We're primal. We may think we're all sophisticated and modern, but at our core, we're primal. Below the waterline, we're primal. We're meaning-seeking, emotional, social creatures. And these are part of our wiring. It's part of our operating system. So we have to have meaning in our life. We have to have purpose. We have to know the why of things. We are emotional creatures, right? We don't make decisions off logic. We make decisions off emotion. Logic makes people think, says Alan Weiss, business consultant, but emotion makes people act. And finally, we're social creatures. We stay at the top of the food chain above polar bears and great white sharks, not because we have fur, fangs, or claws, but because of our ability to group and form teams and overcome what Mother Nature throws at us. So as social creatures, we're always looking to connect. We're always looking for friend or foe. We're always assessing our status in the context of other people, honor and shame. Story hits all 3 of those. Story provides meaning and purpose. It provides context. It makes sense of things. It hits us on an emotional, visceral level, right on our chest cavity, and it promotes connection. It does all those things. So obviously, there is a ton of reciprocity that comes when people tell stories with purpose, with the idea of serving other people. That's how it works, and it's important that you know that, right? Because if we don't have those things met, we will not take action. But if they are met, we will take action and we'll deliver reciprocity to the teller of those stories. And that's why David continues to see himself invited back. It's why he continues to grow in his revenue. And it's why he's become so relevant in these powerful circles. Rooftop leaders in this low trust, high conflict age, they got to know that. They got to know that's their path towards relevance. My friend Mary Kincaid, who works with Bo Easton, she's a wonderful story structure coach. She says this about stories. She says that if we are in alignment, and I'm paraphrasing, with our mind, body, and spirit, our stories are gifted to us from another level. And I totally believe that. So if our stories are gifted to us, then why wouldn't we gift them to others? It's the ultimate in generosity. And it brings the ultimate in reciprocity. Powerful stuff. So what are the steps I'd like you to think about this week? What I'd like you to think about is when you consider how to gift stories, 3 things. 1, identify the theme or the purpose that you are moving towards as you are teaching, inspiring, persuading, or influencing, right? What's the goal? The second thing is locate a story in your database that will advance that theme, that will embody that theme, that will provide context or the vehicle for that theme. Because that's what's going to pass into your listener's mind, and it will save them the trouble of having to develop their own narrative to make sense of it, which they will, that will not be as informationally relevant or put you in as a favorable a light as the story you create. That's number 2. And number 3, adapt that story from your database to serve that theme and, more importantly, the person who needs to hear it or the people who need to hear it. A story is a living, breathing thing. It's moldable. It's malleable. It's probably best if I give an example. One of my coaching students in the Pathfinders, Josh Brettel, is a CPA. He and his father run a family-owned, very successful financial planning practice in Chicago. Not too long ago, Josh had a man and a woman come into his practice who were considering moving everything over to Josh's practice. The only problem was they're so skeptical. They're so nervous. They were scared about what it took to do this, especially the guy. And he kept asking these minutia questions about the investments and how it works, stuff that really the investor has no business even trying to figure out. Finally, you know what Josh did? He told a story about his son and trains. And he talked about how his son, this little guy, just loves trains. He loves to play with trains. He loves to watch cartoons with trains. And he sure loves to ride on trains. And not too long ago, Josh got a call from his mom who was going to have a grandma day with their son. And she said, you know what? Would it be okay if I took him on a train? Now, Josh said yes. But you know what he didn't do? And this is what he told the guy. He said, I didn't ask my mom where the train was going to. I didn't ask her if it had maintenance done lately. I didn't ask who the conductor was. I trusted the team on the train. I trusted the system, and I sure as hell trusted my mom to get my little boy on and off that train and where he needed to be safely. And your trust in me with your investment is similar to that train. And guess what? The wife looked at Josh, said, will you give us a second? When Josh came back in, they moved everything over to them. That story served. It was a gift to help the man figure out what he needed to do, what role he needed to play to make sense of what was pretty pervasive fear-based behavior. You see how story can work? This is how it can work. It's powerful, powerful stuff if you'll do the work, okay? So remember those 3 steps. Identify the theme or purpose of what you're trying to do. Locate the story in your database that could serve that, and then adapt the story to serve that theme and the person or people who need to hear it. This is what we do in Rooftop Leadership Mastery. This is our tribe. This is the kind of skill sets that we develop. We are the most relevant people in the room, right? We are the most relatable people in the room. Would love to have you be part of our Rooftop Leadership Mastery tribe. If you don't have necessarily the ability right now to do the personal coaching or come to the live events, or you don't have the time, this approach is perfect for you. It's an online membership of like-minded leaders just like you who believe in a purpose bigger than yourself, who want to make a big impact in the world and leave tracks. It includes monthly coaching calls with me directly on Zoom. It includes access to Rooftop University, where you can deep dive into topics just like this and get way better, way faster. And it includes a private team room in Facebook where I'm in there all the time. Other really cool leaders from other disciplines are in there. And we're talking about this stuff in real time, and we are executing. And we are seeing the returns on our investments and the returns on our work right away. That is the world of Rooftop Leadership Mastery. For what it takes to take your family out to supper, for goodness sakes, for one time a month, $50, and the first month is only $1, just to make sure it's the right fit for you, it's the right fit for me. The way you do it is you go to rooftopleadership.com/mastery, click on it, and just enroll, and you will not regret it. It's a monthly membership. Stay in for as long as you want and watch your leadership interaction and your interpersonal communication skills escalate heavily. All right? So remember the theme this week. Gift those stories, look for opportunities to do it, and see the reciprocity that comes back your way. Thanks for what you do, and I'll see you on the rooftop.